All right, hello everyone. Here we are. We're going to go with hole number 8 here, Kingmaker ball. Got it selected. We're going to go Apocalypse this time. I did show you guys pretty much more or less how to execute the Thor's hammer. I ended up just adding just a little bit too much power there. You know, I wanted to put together a secondary perspective so that way you have Thor's drive and Apocalypse. Really nothing's going to change here with how I go about doing this. There's a little bit less wind here, so I'm not going to get quite as aggressive as I did in that last video. I won't need to because the wind's so small. So you can see 10.8. We'll be able to lean this a lot closer. So you're going to see that I'm barely going to bump this up into the fairway with my aim. Might just use a little bit of curl, and right about 8 rings should do it. 7.7, somewhere in there. And I'm just trying to bump through the rough, basically. So one of the things you do want to avoid is it checking up like that, though. I'm just going to pitch this one out. You know, that's just luck of the draw. It just kind of hit the fairway completely different than my leg. And that's what I was mentioning about how you could have different perspectives and bounces through that rough. And that's why I was so surprised that my other fairway bounce was so aggressive that even with just the slightest power just landed long in the rough. But you'll see that you can see how bumpy this fairway is. So just the slightest bad bounce can pretty much just cost you altogether. It didn't even glide through the rough like it should have, and just still still should have been in the fairway. But you could see that it just checked instead of glide through, and because of that, we're in the rough. And here you can see my opponent in the bunker. I'm just gonna pitch out into the fairway for you guys. That way you can still get the fairway. I already do have the rough perspective for you. And you can see, you know, it's not the end of the world. We can still make this. We can still get our eagle. But I'm just going to go ahead. We're going to put it into the Hornet range here, so you guys can actually see an adjustment here. And as I was mentioning in my other video, you typically have to do kind of an overplay here. So that's what you're going to more or less see me do. I'm going to try 15%, and we're going to use the slider, all that good stuff. So let's take a look here. Should be relatively straightforward. 13.5 at max. We're not at max, but we are up there. So maybe 12.5 rings, I'm thinking, with the overplay. I also tried to keep the backspin just a little bit lower, because this one does have a tendency to kind of want to check up. So you can see with what I'm doing, I might just be just a little bit offset, probably in the neighborhood of half a ring or so. But let's just see what this looks like. Who knows, might have still needed that. Let's just see. Yep, it still does. So even this is an underplay. So you'll still have to crank this up even more. So 12.1. So let's say, you know, somewhere up here, somewhere in the neighborhood of at least maybe plus 20 to plus 25%, will get you in the ballpark of what you need to do. It's a severe overplay because it's so angled that there's so much wind effect. It actually looks like it's landing left of where I originally aimed. However, it's deflecting that much to the right. So never underestimate how much wind effect actually is. Because as I mentioned, it looks like it's landing left of my initial target. However, it's still to the right of the hole. So do keep that in mind. Good luck with that hole, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.